Okay, good morning, English 102. Welcome. My name is Leandra Poe. I will be your instructor for this semester. I want to go over a couple of things about the course, mostly just the way that we're going to set up the course because it's an online course. So, this is the first time that I have taught a fully remote online course, and I'm really excited to learn Blackboard a little bit more and build out our course content. And if any of you have taken online courses before, I'd love to hear feedback about what works for you, what doesn't work for you. We will be doing this course asynchronously. So that's the first thing you need to know. That means that there will not be lectures that you have to come to at a certain time. The way that we are going to move through this course is that I will on Wednesdays post new content for the upcoming week. Our week is going to run from Wednesday to Tuesday. What this is going to do is allow me to check in with you after I deliver the new content every Wednesday. So by 4 o'clock on Wednesday, you'll get new information, and then you can email me if you have questions on Wednesday or Thursday. And then that also gives you the weekend to catch up on assignments if you need to. So that's why I structured it that way, meaning that Tuesdays usually is when our big assignments will be due. So essentially you'll have from Wednesday to that following Tuesday to complete that assignment. And we'll make adjustments as we go to, address what the needs of individual students are. I'm pretty flexible as an instructor and as a person. So it's important to me that we create a structure that works for everybody. So if we have to adjust the structure that I'm setting up now, we will. I would like to go over the information sheet that is on Blackboard and just go through the questions with you. You'll find this under Student Information Sheet 102, I think is how I labeled it. So just let me know what your name is, your pronouns. I am she, her. What you like most about reading. So this is a literature class. We'll be doing a lot of reading. What you like most about writing. These questions are tricky because I am well aware that there are students who may not like anything about reading and writing. I specifically am still asking what you like because I'd like you to try to find one thing. The more I know about your preferences, the better the class will go. How familiar are you with appropriate essay structure? And the structuring of an essay. So 1 to 10, 1 being least familiar, 10 being most familiar. If you feel, obviously everyone has gotten through English 101 at this point, but if you feel like you still need some instruction around how to organize your arguments, how to build a strong thesis, how to really flesh out your arguments, how to develop your essay, that's totally fine. I love teaching writing, and just because this is a literature course does not mean it's not a composition course. Like, this is literature and composition. So you'll be writing and learning to write through the literature we read. So if you're not comfortable and you put 1, that's fine. We'll start with the basics probably anyway. But if I get a whole bunch of 1s to 3s, meaning most of the class is not comfortable, then I'll know we need to spend a little more time on that. Concerns you have for the class regarding reading or writing or both. So this is just to help me know you individually and what you might struggle with, what you've struggled with in past classes. If you have trouble focusing, for instance, on reading long stories, let me know that because I can help you brainstorm some ways to develop some better focusing techniques or find a way around the reading. For instance, I find it really useful myself to listen to a story and then go back and read certain sections. And so it just depends on how you learn and process information best, and I'd like to help you with that. And also, have you ever taken an online course before? That information will be helpful for me because if you have taken exclusively online courses, you can help me build this course a little bit and give me some feedback as to what works. And if you've never taken an online course, then you and I are in the same boat, and we'll figure it out together. All right. If yes, what works best for you for online learning, and what is a challenge? Please be open about that so I can accommodate that and learn from it. Okay, so For literature and composition, there are 3 genres of literature we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at fiction, exclusively through short stories. We're not reading novels. We will be looking at poetry, and we will be looking at drama. I fully expect people to have preferences around what they like the most. In my experience teaching this class several times now, most people prefer fiction. I prefer poetry. I am a poet, and I'm actually a student in grad school for a poetry program. I'm getting my MFA, so I have a strong preference towards poetry, and I recognize most people do not. I don't prefer drama. I don't really enjoy teaching it, so it's always a learning experience for me to teach it. But I'm interested to know what the majority of the class likes and does not like. So if you would rate what you like most, or what you're most interested in to what you're least interested in of those 3 genres, that would be really helpful for me. Because if the entire class is exclusively interested in fiction, then we'll make the fiction unit a little bit longer than the other 2 units, and so on and so forth, similar to poetry. If everyone loves poetry, then we'll make that the longest unit. In your opinion, and based on your experience so far, how can instructors best support student learning? I always ask this question, whether I am doing in-person teaching, or a kind of mix of in-person and remote, because I think it's really helpful for me as an educator to always check in with students about what they need, and I've learned a lot from this question. So please let me know. Maybe getting consistent and on-time feedback. That's always a challenge for me with papers, but if I know that is something that specifically helps you, that will help me stay on track with that. Or maybe it is talking a lot about how you process information. Maybe it's like very clear instructions, going over material in more than one way, having it written and spoken. Whatever you have found that helps you be successful, please write that down and let me know, or type it and let me know. And then finally, what is your learning style? This last question, you will need a link or a Word document. So under the folder, the content folder in Blackboard for day 1, there is a link to everything we're going to be talking about. And then there's also a Word document version of that same information. So there is a learning styles quiz or questionnaire. I would like for you to print it out if that's easiest for you. If it's not easiest for you, just read the questions and keep track of your answers. If you have some questions about how to actually tally up the answers, shoot me a quick email. It's pretty simple once you start doing it. The reason I ask this question is it's important for me to know how my students learn best, especially now that we're doing digital learning and this is a remote class. I really want to know if you are all audio learners. I will know that my lectures or specific instruction around pieces of literature should be recorded so that you can hear it. If you are all mostly visual, then maybe I won't make as many videos, right? Kinesthetic, that means you learn through doing something, is going to be a little bit more difficult. But if for my kinesthetic learners, if I know that I have a strong representation of kinesthetic learners in this class, I can figure out how to present information via video in a way where you're actually participating and doing something at the same time. So that's really helpful for me to know. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and take that learning styles quiz or questionnaire, however you'd like to think of it. And when you download this document, you're just going to type your answers right in and then email it to me, attach it to an email and send it to me. When you do that, make sure you also include in that last question the answer to whether you are audio, visual, or kinesthetic. Okay, I guess that's all. I'm going to give specific separate videos on Rosenblatt's transactional theory, as well as the poem we're going to be looking at today, which is a poem by one of my favorite poets, named Rainer Maria Rilke. He was a German poet. I have him tattooed on my arm. So we're going to look at that in the context of Louise Rosenblatt's transactional theory. So what you're going to do after you turn this off and do your questionnaire and do the learning styles quiz is you're going to go to the video on Louise Rosenblatt's transactional theory, which will be a little tiny mini lecture on that. and listen to that. All right, it was great to meet you all. I look forward to actually meeting you through your writing, and I look forward to a really wonderful semester. Thank you.